И сейчас в золотой угол ринга добро пожаловать боксер из России Дима Борек, Ваге Sarukhanyan.
Sarukhanyan from Sochi, like the winner of the previous fight, 34 years old, now 21 wins and 4 defeats. Hasn't been super active recently, I think it's fair to say that. In June 2021, he boxed for the Russian lightweight title, lost by majority decision. That was over 10 rounds against Nazarian. And then he was out for 2.5 years. Came back last February, retired after 8 rounds against Karatul Agrabu, who I've seen a bit of. He's a solid fighter. And he's picked up the win since then. So, I'm hard to know what we'll get from this one, really.
Yeah, it looks like a very fascinating one. There's two not normal routes to where they've got to, I think it's fair to say, Andy, which always puts the potential for a banana skin in play.
Он владел титулами чемпиона Азии по версии WBC и чемпиона мира по версии UBO. И сейчас в статусе действующего чемпиона Республики Казахстан среди профессионалов в легком весе поднялся на одну категорию и поднялся на этот ринг. Из города Актобе қаласынан Казахстан чемпионы Nurtas Azhbenov. В золотом углу ринга российский профессионал из города Сочи. Ему 34 года, его рост 170 сантиметров, вес 63 килограмма 400 граммов. Его обширный профессиональный рекорд составляет 27 поединков, 21 победа, 4 из которых одержаны нокаутом, 4 поражения и 2 ничьи. На канвасе экс-чемпион WBC International с берега Черного моря Ваге Sarukhanyan.
Referee with the final
И с ударом гонга ответственный за происходящее внутри канатов Сергей Журкин.
Tell you what, Andy, these are two men that you would not want to meet down a dark alley one night.
No, I think that's a fair comment. I think that is definitely a fair comment.
Always be wary of a man with Azhbenov's haircut. Look at that.
And they've had their successes during their career as well. You look at the records, 21-4 and 15 and 1. Azhbenov has won a national title at lightweight in Kazakhstan. They are not easy to come by. A WBC Asian Continental title, and Sarukhanyan a WBC International. They've not, the pair of them, really hit the heights, but I think this should be a very competitive fight. Sarukhanyan, some people would have guessed from the surname, born in Armenia, boxed at the 2008 World Youth Championships actually in Mexico. That's a good while ago now. Azhbenov, southpaw, he's in the black and gold. Is scheduled for 6. Kind of a swatting right hand there from Sarukhanyan, and you look at the back on him as he was caught on camera there. He's in serious shape and looks a couple of weight divisions above Azhbenov, really.
Yeah, as you mentioned, look at the back, that triangle-shaped torso. Azhbenov tidy on the front foot, southpaw, just looking for that left hand.
He's well organised, Azhbenov. He's got that nice kind of relaxed quality about him. You look at Sarukhanyan, he's literally a more muscular kind of fighter, and he does look to try and muscle those punches in. He keeps that guard quite high, shoots the jab down to the body there. But the man in front of him is just a little bit more languid, hands slightly lower.
This is good stuff on the front foot from Azhbenov, though. Just edging forward with the feet, feinting up and down. Good left hand sinking in there. Looks like he's been around the block.
Just got caught with the right hand there, Azhbenov, as he was trying to unfurl a left himself.
Yeah, Sarukhanyan's got that right hand cocked. Shot against the southpaw, as we know. Just needs to be wary there, Azhbenov. That jab's coming out at a very similar pace every time. Sarukhanyan, you mentioned physically looks to be the superior guy. Looks like he's got some hand speed as well, but just being manoeuvred around at times in this opening round.
It's been kind of interesting actually, because he came out quite quick, and then, as you say, he's gone from dictating to being dictated to a little bit. I can't quite work out why that's happened. Azhbenov has got some good movement. As you pointed out, he was using that front foot intelligently, but there was a shift in dynamic there, and it wasn't because anything really landed.
No, crafty stuff on the front foot there without being gung-ho, just getting that front foot out there and just making Sarukhanyan think about things. As you mentioned, Sarukhanyan coming close with the right hand. It looks to be both men setting up that backhand, as often can be the case with the southpaw against an orthodox fighter, but was impressed with Azhbenov there. Didn't do an awful lot in the round, but for me, just positionally did enough to take it.
Секунданты за ринг.
Nurtas, no speed. Step back, step back.
Второй раунд.
Box.
Just dips and looks for that right hand into the body there. Sarukhanyan. Start of round 2. They're scheduled for 6 IBA.PRO. Azhbenov has boxed under those auspices once before. That was in Baku last September, where he lost to Gabel Mamedov and just got caught by a right hand there, actually. It's quite an effective shot for Sarukhanyan, that. You mentioned that he's always got that right hand cocked, and he does, but when he throws it the way he did there, it's a very short little hook, isn't it? It doesn't travel very far at all, but it's nice and quick. But he's got to be close to throw it.
Again, following a similar pattern to the first round, where Sarukhanyan sort of electing to go onto the back foot a little bit more in this round. Comes close again with the right hand, that right hook. Puffing shot landed to the head of Azhbenov. Just like to see Sarukhanyan be a little bit more aggressive here. I think he has the physical advantages. He looks to be the fresher, physically stronger fighter, but he's just being a little bit too tentative at the minute. He's allowing Azhbenov to dictate off that front foot. Good left hand lands there. Looks to be growing in confidence as well.
I completely agree. And when you look at the physicality of the pair of them, Sarukhanyan, he's not technically as good as Azhbenov. I think that's quite obvious. He hasn't got any obviously fatal flaws, but what you expect to see here is Sarukhanyan trying to put it on Azhbenov a little bit more, bring that work rate, bring that physicality. If you saw them backstage, that's what you'd expect from this fight, and that's not always a perfect way to read things, but it is quite curious the way he's going about this. It's the kind of thing that can happen if somebody starts quick and then gets hurt, obviously, early, but we haven't seen that.
No, not really. And when he's letting his hands go, he's having some success. It's not that Azhbenov is dominating these exchanges, but he's just having the first say in it. Sarukhanyan again coming close there with the right hand. We'd just like to see him go again now. Don't let Azhbenov be the one who dictates off the front foot, because these rounds will get away from you very, very quickly.
Closing stages of round 2. Nice short right hand there from Azhbenov, then just slipped inside the right hand and looked for a left into the body, which landed not completely clean.
He's not dominating these rounds by any stretch of the imagination, but I just feel like he's just outmaneuvered Sarukhanyan in both of those. I think the last round he just looked like Azhbenov was finding a little bit of a river on the front foot, was growing in confidence. Sarukhanyan, as I mentioned, he can't afford to let too many of these rounds get away. This is very much a sprint over 6 rounds.
A good win that really jumped out at me on Sarukhanyan's record was against Giovanni Straffon, who after that fight went on to stop James Tennyson in quite shocking fashion. It wasn't something that we expected to see. I remember that night well, so as we've been outlining, we've got a pair of capable guys here, very capable. They've not really hit those upper echelons particularly, but they're good, dedicated professionals.
And a good style matchup as well, Andy. I just feel like Sarukhanyan might be falling into the trap of fighting Azhbenov's fight so far through 2 rounds.
No low blow, again, no low blow.
Doubling up on the jab there. Azhbenov, no great power on either one of them. Sarukhanyan with that single right hand.
I don't know whether he's just struggling with the southpaw style a little bit here, Sarukhanyan. I wonder if maybe he wants to throw that straight right hand to the body. Hopefully Azhbenov slows down. It just looks like he's struggling to get off consistently here.
He is. That's a decent right hand to the body there from him, but that right hand, there's a couple of times it's fallen short. Azhbenov has tempted him in, just pulled out slightly, and then caught him with a couple as he's come forward.
No holding, Vage, no holding, no holding. Step back, step back. Vage, no holding. Break!
Reached for the right hand there, committed to it more. Again, it didn't quite get there, but I think that's really what we're going to have to see from him, because I agree those first 2 rounds have probably gone the other way, and the cleaner punching in this round, just past the halfway stage, again has come from Azhbenov. It's absolutely competitive, but if you find yourself in this repetitive cycle of just losing a round, then you've got to try and do something different.
Yeah, I think Sarukhanyan is starting to pick up the pace a little bit here. He's having a little bit more success with the right hand. Just needs to keep it going. He can't afford to be backed up. This is a fight that he has to win on the front foot. Can't allow Azhbenov just to back him up with foot feints. This isn't where he needs to be, Sarukhanyan. Had a lot of success about 45 seconds ago on the front foot and then went straight back onto the back foot. Needs to keep going, needs to move those hands. That's better. And again.
Final 30 seconds of round 3, and at that point we'll be at the halfway stage. This one's scheduled for 6.
No push, no push. Nurtas, no push.
This has been a better round for Sarukhanyan, just up in the pace at times. But still just a little bit too passive. I think this is a much easier fight for him if he's on the front foot and he's letting those hands go. But a better third for him.
Stop.
Федеральная сеть АЗС.
Внимание, Димаш, спокойно, Димаш. Мешок, хочешь не точно aldın moment, tek, vurdum, gittin, oldu, tek, gittin, oldu.
That's the right hand he really committed to. It landed around about the shoulder, but he's just trying to measure the distance with the left, and then that was another instance where he didn't commit quite so much, and he was short. And when he falls short with it, and that right hand's got a long way to travel to find the target when you're up against a southpaw. Azhbenov is great at just shifting his weight onto the back foot slightly, making you do that. And then he can just rattle a couple off as you're falling in, as coaches would describe it, as your balance is slightly gone.
Четвертый раунд.
It's kind of an interesting fight to watch, though, isn't it? It's a good sort of technical battle. It's easy from where we are to feel like it's fairly clear what Sarukhanyan in particular needs to do to make this more his kind of a fight. I've just been wondering from the start whether he got caught with something early-ish, maybe even to the body, that stung a bit, that we didn't really pick up on. I don't think he has been, but the way he's gone about things at times, he's got that kind of suggestion to it.
I think he's struggled with the southpaw style, which is one of the reasons why he's not letting his hand go. He's on the back foot, he's looking for that perfect shot. I think the best round he had by far was the last round in the third, where he's moving his hands. He's not looking for the perfect shot, just letting his hands go and looking to land something. And I think if he plays the waiting game, he's going to come second best against the more skilled technician.
That's a good straight left hand there from Azhbenov.
Waiting too long again here, Sarukhanyan. Better right hand.
Slings in that right hand again. That was the punch I was describing earlier in the fight, where he gets quite low and he really hoops it in, doesn't he? Probably quite hard to pick that one up sometimes. There it is again. That was a little bit straighter, but it comes from quite low. And there's some explosivity to it, but again, he just needs a bit more consistency. He just needs to keep that work rate a little bit higher, because he's done that in this round most of the way through, but heading into the final minute, he just needs to keep it up there. Again, that single right gets through.
I think as well, because Azhbenov is clearly the more capable technician, so his shots are a little bit cleaner, a little bit more eye-catching, which is one of the other reasons why Sarukhanyan needs to combat that with volume. He can't wait and try and land the perfect shot against the guy who looks to be the more technically superior fighter.
And there was that right hand again, though, that single right just a few seconds ago, and actually I think he's having a pretty decent round here, Sarukhanyan. And if he has taken the last two, if he does get the nod in the third and he takes this one, then this is set up nicely. Heading into rounds 5 and 6, and Azhbenov, I think, maybe just realising that, just looking to try and step onto the front foot himself right in the final few seconds of round 4.
Nicely poised, though, this one, Andy. As you mentioned there, 2 rounds to go, and I feel like Sarukhanyan has won the last couple of rounds, and I don't think it's any surprise. It's due to the fact he's letting his hands go. He's spending more of the fight on the front foot and not backing up, not allowing Azhbenov to back him up so easily. All to play for with 2 to go.
Absolutely. As I mentioned at the start, neither one of these two has been particularly active in recent times, but they've got plenty of experience, so they'll know how to navigate 6-round fights. There's no question about that, but Sarukhanyan has maybe been plotting his way through this a little bit. Azhbenov has boxed at a pretty similar pace throughout the course of the contest and into the start of round 5, and Sarukhanyan just looking to try and shoot that jab up from the waist.
Good right hand to the body.
Left to the body there from Azhbenov. And Sarukhanyan again just looking to put some heat on that right hand. Head, body. not particularly bothered where he lands. And Azhbenov trying to get on the front foot himself here.
Good exchange
No
there.
holding, no holding. No holding, Nurtas.
Haven't had
No
too
holding.
much of that, where they've both been arranged and just let their hands go. That mid-close range. Just creeping in again with that front foot, Azhbenov. Then goes for the lead left hand right into the body there from Sarukhanyan. It's a tight fight, this. This is a really tight round.
Last minute of the round, I feel like Sarukhanyan really needs to get behind that jab, step in behind it, good right hand to the body again, partially blocked there from Azhbenov.
Doubled up on the attack that time, Sarukhanyan. The first right didn't really get there, but just moved into a second phase as we head into the final 30 seconds. That's a neat left hand into the body there from Azhbenov, and then avoided the right hand that was coming back.
Is that a cut for Sarukhanyan?
Well, I think there's some blood coming from the corner of the right eye there. And there's that kind of swatting right hand, which he's landed a few times. It's never really bothered Azhbenov. Neither one of these two has hurt each other. There is blood coming from the corner of the right eye. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, because it looks like the cut, the abrasion, whatever it is exactly, is on the corner, and the blood's going to run clear of the eye.
Stop!
Hard to know whether that was caused by a punch or a head punch. I don't think it's going to be too influential on the final outcome here anyway.
No, just one round to go. I think the fifth, arguably the closest of the 5 rounds that we've had so far. For me, this is in the balance, Andy, with 3 minutes to go.
I would agree. I would agree.
Son round kalk, давай. Art qol. Ол саған келатқанда қарашы, келатады ғой. Встречай жетші мынаумен. Жаңа көрдің ба қалай тиген арт қолыңды? О, тиет, Нұртас. Оны жүргіздірме, сен оны жүргізсең, ол
I haven't seen the jab all that much from him, from Sarukhanyan, but he got him with one there.
He's had success when he's thrown it. You know, he's looking for that right hand, but it's big single shots. And as we said earlier on in the fight, you know, looking for that big single perfect shot against a guy who looks to be the technically more superior fighter that's a risky strategy.
Шестой раунд. Заключительный.
Box.
I'd like to see Sarukhanyan fight these last 3 minutes on the front foot and let those hands go.
No holding, no hold. Stop! 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 Step back. Vage, no holding, okay?
Slightly cheeky from Sarukhanyan. The referee largely ignored it. Both of them just setting their feet and looking to let their hands go there. Nothing really got through. A straight right there from Sarukhanyan. I think just Cannon got a piece of the face of Azhbenov via the gloves.
Good shot.
That's a decent combination. Right hand followed by a left there from Sarukhanyan.
No holding,
He's
Vage,
just
no holding.
holding his ground a little bit more here in the last round, Andy, as we've been asking for from Sarukhanyan up to this point. He's not going backwards. He's looking to land those shots and stay in there. Just as I say that, he gets backed up onto the back foot.
But lands a decent jab going backwards there, heading up towards the midway points of this 6th and final round.
Sarukhanyan boxing like a fighter who thinks he's probably got this one in the bag by the looks of things. Very confident, good right hand lands there. Azhbenov been very tidy on the front foot, but has really lacked a change of pace. Hasn't really done too many things different throughout the course of this fight, whereas we have seen a little bit from Sarukhanyan as he lands the left hook there.
He's landed some good solid shots in this final round, I think, Sarukhanyan, hasn't he? They've been easy for the judges to see. He's punched in combination quite effectively at times, and I think for Azhbenov, as you say, he hasn't really managed at any point to do anything particularly different. We've been asking Sarukhanyan to put his foot on the gas pedal after the first couple of rounds, and he's done that fairly effectively. Azhbenov just hasn't really shown us too many gears. There's another kind of right hand as Sarukhanyan was moving off to his right. Azhbenov trying to answer back.
It's been a good final round for Sarukhanyan, as you mentioned. That winging left hook over the top has had success. He's also had some success with a right hand to the body. He's finishing well here. Slides into the little Philly shell, Andy, to round things off.
And it was a decent watch that over the 6 rounds. I think that he's actually paced that well, Sarukhanyan. As I said, both of them have been down the stretch. They've been more than 6 rounds on plenty of occasions, but they've not been super active either. And maybe at the start of the fight, Sarukhanyan was just a little bit wary of not blowing a gasket, of going out too quick, even when you're experienced. These things can play on your mind slightly, but he did, I think, put his foot down and gradually squeeze that accelerator as we went on, and I think he's done enough there.
Yeah, and you mentioned there about the inactivity as well. Azhbenov early on had a lot of success. So, you know, it can take a little bit of time for Sarukhanyan just to get used to getting hit in small gloves again. But I do agree with you, Andy. I think he finished the fight in the ascendancy, and I think he's probably just done enough here to edge this over 6 rounds.
В центре ринга участники этого сложного 6-раундового поединка. Это Ваге Сарукханян и Нуртас Азhbenov. Дайте им аплодисментов. Поединок продлился всю дистанцию, и по его завершении единогласным решением судей победу одержал боксер золотого угла Ваге Сарукханян.
So Sarukhanyan gets it by unanimous decision.
Награждаем аплодисментами его соперника из
Right
города Аксубе, Республики
by
Казахстан.
the judges, but a good match that. Good match for the undercard.
Yeah, had a nice ebb and flow to it. Certainly wasn't thrills and spills, but you know, some good changes of momentum in there. And as we mentioned, I think Sarukhanyan finishing the fight the stronger of the two. Certainly in that last round, landed some nice, impactful left hooks, and enough to see him emerge victorious on the scorecards.
Does well to pack that frame into 63.5 kilos as well.
Even got a few little dance moves there, Andy. You can do it all.
Тем временем на телеканале реклама у нас в зале. Все по-прежнему. Через 2 минуты мы будем готовы продолжить поединки. Ну а пока я попрошу нашу техническую команду вывести на экраны ссылку на социальные сети IBA.PRO. Узнать больше об этой организации, делах и планах можно там. И, конечно же, своими глазами на ее втором событии. Это Винлайн IBA.PRO 2. Прощальный бой крашеров. Впереди по-прежнему все самое интересное. И уже менее чем через 2 минуты мы будем готовы продолжить поединки на черном канвасе в городе трудовой доблести Челябинске.